Hello friends, welcome back to a new video. I have not vlogged in a month, almost a month, nearly a month. Anyway, my recent video, my reset rest routine video, that one I filmed in June and it is nearly mid-July, which is like wild to me, and I'm just ready to film a new video and get this party started. So it is time for a summer reading vlog. I always love doing a nice cheeky summer reading vlog, and our star of the show for this vlog is Great Big A Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. Emily Henry's new release, and I already started it. I think I started this last Wednesday. Today's Monday, by the way. It is the start of a new week. I'm finally feeling not burned out. Once I stopped slowly feeling a bit better after my verge of burnout period, I got sick with some sinus cold, and I'm still technically sick. I would say I'm like 90% better, but this morning and this week I'm just feeling so much better and like myself again, and I'm ready to vlog and be with you guys. So I think I started this nearly a week ago, and I'm taking my time with it. I am taking my time with it. Let me like set this down. I am taking my time with this book because I just want to slow down, and one of the ways that helps me slow down is like slow reading, or like taking my time with a book instead of like trying to rush myself through a book. And in that vlog I was reading a fantasy, Mad Ship, which I finished and loved it. Can't wait to read book 3, and that one took me I think 3 weeks to get through, between reading like the physical book, reading the ebook, and also listening to it on audio because it was a hefty chunky book. But now we are reading a romance, and this is definitely a lot quicker for me to read, and I've only been reading the physical copy. I did put out a hold, or I put in a hold for the ebook and the audiobook on Libby, but I don't think those will be ready for me anytime soon, and I'm not mad about that. I'm enjoying just reading the physical copy of this, and that's just helping me like slow down, be present, and like not rushing myself to, you know, finish a book super quick. So that's been super fun. So yeah, I actually like didn't really read much of this over the weekend, and then I wanted to read more last night, and then I was like, no, I need to start my vlog because I said I would do an Emily Henry reading vlog, and I always do one. It's kind of a tradition over here, summer reading vlog featuring Emily Henry. So we are keeping our word, friends, and I am less than halfway through. I'm on page 165. And how many pages is this? It's close to, it's a little over 400. So we're not at the 200 page mark, halfway point yet, but we will be. And I think my goal is to finish this book by the weekend, because I want to start a new book this weekend. Another book on my like summer reading list. That's what I'm telling myself. I also need to do a little bit of weekly planning. Like I set up my planner and all of that yesterday, but I didn't really think about like what I need to do this week and like what my goals are and like all of that stuff. So one of them will be finishing this book, starting a new book, and some other fun things. So yeah, welcome to the vlog. I hope you're excited, because I'm just excited to be filming again, and also just feeling well enough and energized enough to film again. I missed it. So we know we're back. We are back. I feel good about it. So yay. So in non-reading events, we are supposed to get a thunderstorm. We have like a flood watch. So I'm just kind of monitoring and waiting for those to start. They should have started already. It did start sprinkling a little bit. I had to take George to his hobby night thing, and it did start sprinkling a little bit, but I don't know. We're waiting. We're waiting for the summer storm. I also finally got these shorts in the mail that I've been waiting on for like over a week. They were supposed to get here Friday, and they were late, and they just got here, so I'm excited to try them on. But they are Levi's brand. I ordered them from the Levi's website. They were having like a 30% off sale or something. These are the 80s mom shorts, high-waisted, you know, 80s vibes. So I'm very particular with my denim shorts, and I've been just needing denim shorts for summer, like new ones. So I really hope they fit. They should, because I did try on other Levi's in this size and figured this would be the best size. And it's also super stretchy. It feels soft. So we'll see how much stretch it has, but yay for summer wardrobe updates. I also have a ton of these. This looks terrible, but I wanted to film a haul for Patreon, a summer haul, like a try on haul, and you know, try on different outfits, but I have not gotten a chance to do it yet. I wanted to do it over the weekend, but I was still ill and like not well enough to film. So I'm hoping I can film that this weekend, but here's a preview. Some stuff I actually might return, but I wanted to try them on for the video at least before returning them. So yeah. Okay, these are definitely like the style that I want, like a little baggy, not too tight and form-fitting, and high-waisted obviously. So far, so good. Yay. Finally carved out some morning time for me to read a little bit before I go into work, and I gave myself about 30 minutes. It feels nice, but friends, I would say I'm just reached over the halfway mark, and I don't know, I'm kind of bored. And I think this has been the problem that I've been seeing in other people's reviews, is that this novel or this book is straying away from being like Henry's typical romance formula, and it's turning into like a contemporary fiction. So we still have romance, but there's like a little bit of mystery and just like contemporary fiction, because the whole plot is our main character, God, I don't even remember her name, Alice Scott. She's like basically competing with this other guy for this writing job to interview this big celebrity who's in her 80s, and she's been in isolation and nobody really knows that she exists anymore. And she like tracked her down and is like basically competing for a month with this other guy named Hayden, who's essentially the enemies to lovers, like male main character. So they're kind of forced to work alongside each other, but not work alongside each other, because they want to win the position to interview the woman, Margaret, like to do a book deal or an article or whatever. So they have like a month trial to get to know her, and she wants to earn their trust, and then she will decide which person she picks So like premise sounds really interesting, definitely like a typical Henry, like enemies to lover, you know, trope with a fun little kind of story twist. But I think where I'm bored with Margaret's like character and that side of the story, because there's a lot of detail going into her life, and then this romance is kind of like a subplot where I think a lot of us want it to be like mainly romance, and then that's just like the subplot. So I'm enjoying the romance bits a bit more because that's like a typical, you know, Emily Henry vibe. And then I just feel like I'm dragging myself through the parts when she's like interviewing Margaret and Margaret's talking about her life, and you know, there's so much like family history too that she's going through. It's like kind of hard to keep track of all these people, like her parents and her parents' lovers and you know, all of that, you know, stuff. So I don't know, I really want to finish this soon because I'm ready to start a new book. So I think I'm gonna start listening to the audiobook. I know I said I wanted to read this slowly, and I've been doing that for a week, and just sometimes a book just doesn't hold your attention but you still want to finish it. For me, that's when I'm like, all right, let's cue the audiobook. So luckily my Spotify audio hours renewed, I think yesterday or a few days ago, so we're ready. We can listen to it on there because there's no way I'm getting it on Libby anytime soon. So I think, yeah, we're gonna head off to work now, and I'm just gonna listen to it in the car and then see how much I can get listened to by the end of the day. And I really want to get this finished by tomorrow so I can start a new book over the weekend. So we'll see how that goes, but yay for making progress at least. Cheers.
At one time, it's long since been emptied out and converted to the sparse little office with the fold-down Murphy bed that Hayden and I are standing before. The untrained eye would be wrong, but for the woman Cosmo Sinclair wrote the ballad for Margaret.
When I saw you walking down that hill, head high and shoulders back.
Happy weekend, friends. I got a haircut. I've had a very productive Saturday morning so far. The weather has cooled down. I'm outside. It's raining right now. You can probably hear it, and I hope it's not like hard to hear me. But yeah, I woke up pretty early this morning and had a hair appointment at 10. We needed a chop because I'm going on vacation in a week, so it was time to get the hair done, and we feel lighter. I feel like I can take pictures of myself again without, like, you know, needing to hide my hair, my mane, as I like to say. And yeah, so it's Saturday, and now my like day is just kind of like open for who knows what's gonna happen. But I wanted to check in with reading updates because yesterday I finished Great Big Beautiful Life. I finished it in the morning. I had a few chapters left, so the second half went a lot quicker once I started listening to the audiobook, and then it got me kind of back into the story, and I was able to get back into like reading the physical book. But yeah, I think this is my least favorite Emily Henry book now. I know, it just, I know she acknowledges that she went in a different direction with this, and it was an experiment and it was a risk. Those were her words, and it just did not execute very well. There was just too many, she didn't blend the different genres that were going on. The romance was like the subplot, the literary contemporary fiction was the main plot, but this is like marketed as a romance, and then there was like a mystery, and we learned about it at the end, and it was just, I commend Emily Henry for taking the risk and expanding. As a multi-passionate person that has lots of different interests, I probably would also want to venture into a different writing style or genre or subject matter if I was a writer. And yeah, so I gave it a 2.5 rating. I know it's low. It's low. The 0.5 was acknowledging the risk that she had taken, and I feel like a 3-star, because I think I read another one of her books that was kind of more of a 3-star for me, and I liked that better than this one, and it just was mainly because of how the romance just took a back seat, and I didn't like the characters, at least the female and male love interest characters. The guy just annoyed me, and I think part of that was the tension of them competing for each other for this job, and then Margaret, our like, you know, celebrity, like octogenarian. There was also just a lot of telling, like the woman they were interviewing, Margaret, there was just a lot of just back history, and it was just like telling and not really like happening or, you know, describing what was going on. Those are all my critiques, friends. But in my Patreon group, patreon.com/SheilaJoy, if you are not a patron over there, we're reading Book Lovers by Emily Henry together over there for our summer book club pick. So I'm excited to reread that because I read it 3 years ago and apparently I gave it a 5-star rating. So I get to reread that with my patrons, and I think I'm gonna read that like when I get back from vacation and it's mid to late August, all that fun stuff. But now it's time for a new book, continuing the theme, our summer reading vlog. I started reading The Sirens by Emilia Hart. We're not very far into it at all. I'm on page 24, so very early stages. I'm trying to get into it. The writing is definitely a switch from Emily Henry's writing, which is very, you know, quick, witty, very easy to read, and that's really why I love her books, that they just set the mood, get me, you know, very focused and engaged. The Sirens is taking me a second to kind of like get used to the writing and the characters and what's going on, so I need to give myself a little more time. So I'm gonna read outside on the patio with the rain. I'm really excited. And I'm also wearing jeans. What is this sorcery, friends? All right, my camera battery's also dying, so I need to go get a new battery and do a little bit of reading out on the patio. Yay. Welcome to the end of this summer reading vlog, friends. So it's been a couple days since I last checked in. It is Thursday of the following week, and I finished The Sirens yesterday morning, actually, and I had to like think and process what my final rating and review would have been, because my first impressions after finishing this was just one of confusion, or just not sure. Like, I felt like I missed certain things, and I felt like it ended, like there needed to be some more explaining to be done in terms of how everything just ended up. So if you've read Wayward, this book takes a similar has a similar blueprint to it. We have historical fiction element and dual POV and dual timelines. So we have a group of Irish women that are convicts being sailed to Australia from Ireland in 1800, and the author does make a note at the beginning about the whole period of colonialism at that time, and the Aboriginal peoples of Australia having their entire, you know, land disrupted, etc., etc. So I did appreciate that historical note at the beginning. So those are our one timeline. We have a set of twins, Mary and Eliza, who are sailing down to Australia. And then we have present day, Lucy's our main character, and her sister, Jess. So we have like a Lucy POV, and then her sister, Jess, like diary entry POVs. And then we have the historical twin sisters. And I enjoy, you know, dual, multiple, you know, jumping back and forth between different POVs, but I just feel like again, the execution of it all was just, it left me wanting more, and just also feeling lost with a few things. So that brings me to the next two kind of genre elements of this book. You have magical realism and mystery. So there's a big mystery element, which is also a classic kind of Emilia Hart aspect as well, which we love a good mystery because it makes me want to know more. But I think the magical realism is where things just kind of lost me, and I enjoy magical realism. I enjoy coming to my own conclusions, but I just felt like I was gaslighting myself at my conclusion of this. Like there just wasn't enough information, enough closure, enough things said so I could confidently feel like this was the answer to my questions that I felt like weren't answered, etc., etc. And there's a few problematic elements as well that I won't get into just for sake of spoilers, but do look into the trigger warnings with this book, mainly SA and inappropriate relationships. I wish that was explored more, and I wish there was more Lucy's family was explored more, like her background, to give more context to just her side of the story and the whole story at large. What I also really enjoy about Emilia Hart's books and what we saw in Wayward is that they're very feminist and have kind of this theme of women being amazing and then men being evil, and then men getting what they kind of deserve at the end of it all. And we see that in the Sirens as well. I mean, the Sirens, again, it's kind of just playing off of the Odyssey, where there would be sirens in the ocean, and then sailors would hear them singing and get, you know, drawn into their whirlpool, and then they die. So this is, I don't know if this is considered I wouldn't consider a retelling, but it's kind of like taking that and just making it her own, the author's own, which the plot, the premise, the setting I really enjoyed as well, just being in a sea environment in Australia, and there's coasts and there are caves and things of that nature. Yeah, so I ultimately gave this a 3.5 out of 5-star rating because I saw what the author was trying to do, and she even mentioned in her author's note that she wrote this book like 3 times, 2 or 3 times before getting to this version. So she had like scrapped a lot of versions of this to get to this, and I can kind of like see the messiness of all of that, like after reading it and then seeing her note and just trying to kind of process all of that. So it's kind of a bummer that she struggled with this, and I'm seeing the struggle because like the idea is great, it just was not played out amazingly. So that is The Sirens by Emilia Hart, and also Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. We read 2 very interesting, different books during this reading vlog, but I had fun. I had fun reading this, getting back into the swing of vlogging and spending time with you guys. And yeah, so with that said, I will be on vacation in like a couple days after you're watching this. I will be on vacation doing a little bit of vlogging, so you guys have something to watch when I get back. So make sure you're following me on Instagram at In Search of Sheila to just see real-time updates of whatever the heck I'm getting up to. I also want to post some shorts. I don't know, I don't want to like overwhelm myself, but I do want to take this as an opportunity to film some content, get some stuff, you know, in my arsenal, and maybe try and share as much as I can. So YouTube shorts, Instagram stories, find me there. And also find me on Patreon, www.patreon.com/Sheila Joy. I just posted like a summer clothing haul over there as part of my Style Diaries series. And yeah, so if you're interested in the clothing side of my life, the fashion side, me trying to cultivate my personal style this year and see some summer pieces that I got, go follow me over there, and I would love your support. So yeah, thank you friends for being here, and I will see you in the next one.